Hi everyone, I'm Cindy Wang, author of Literary Yarns. Some of you might know me as the geeky hooker on the internet. Not that kind of hooker, the kind with a crochet hook. Today I'm going to crochet Yorick's skull that little Hamlet is holding onto here. And the beverage I'm going to enjoy today is a smoked old fashioned. Alright, cheers everybody. Okay, let's get started, and I've actually already got a bit of a head start on this thing. Head, aha! Alright, so I'm just gonna get cracking on this here. Since this is meant to be just a nice, you know, crafting and cocktail hour kind of thing, I guess maybe it's a good time for a story. So, my first signed copy of my book Literary Yarns did not go to my parents, did not go to any of my friends. Oh no, I'm sure they know I love them, but my very first copy of my book Literary Yarns went to somebody where I had to track them down to find them and gave them a signed copy of my book whether they wanted it or not, because I was like, no, you need to have this. And that person is my junior year English teacher, Mrs. Guest. The thing about Mrs. Guest is she's pretty much the whole reason why my book even exists, because if it weren't for her teachings, I would not have even thought to crochet literary characters at all. I mean, it just would not have been on my radar. But thanks to her, that's the whole reason why I have a better appreciation for literature and why I even had the idea to crochet these little guys to begin with. So, the thing about her class is this woman was terrifying. She would totally disagree with me. And don't get me wrong, she was the sweetest thing. She would never be mean, she didn't yell at anybody or anything, but she just, I mean, when that bell rang, like, she would just sit at the front of class and she would just silently just stare at everyone. And I don't know what it was, something about that look just struck us all with fear, and we would just quietly just sit down, shut up, and get to work. It was just like a very clear moment of just like, oh man, yes ma'am, okay, let's do this. And I just remember sitting in her class, I used to sink as far down in my seat as I could. It was like trying to hide from a freaking bear or something. It was just one of those things like, okay, if I sit down and if I'm really quiet and if I don't move, maybe she won't know that I'm here. But obviously that wasn't the case, because if she called on you in class, she would ask you to, you know, read a passage from whatever book that she was teaching at the time, and then ask you, so, what do you think the author was trying to say here? And I would just freeze. I'd be like, I don't know, something about the sun or some sort of injustice, and I don't know. But I would just spit out whatever answer I could think of. And then the scariest part is after all that, she would just look at you and say, oh, that's interesting, and then move on. And it was just one of those things like, you just don't know. Was that what she was looking for? Was it not? I'm not sure what was happening there. But beyond all that, thanks to her, she was just pretty much almost legendary in a sense that everyone knew if you were in her class, you were going to learn how to really read and interpret literature, and on top of that, just like really know how to write an essay and just knock that AB exam out of the park. And that is exactly what happened. So that brings me to me publishing a book many, many years later, and I decided, you know what, she needs to get the first signed copy. So I found a website from my old high school, looked up the directory, and her name wasn't on there anymore. So I emailed the administrators and I just told them, hey, you know, I'm a former student. I graduated a very, very, very long time ago. I won't specify how long ago. And I'm about to become a published author myself, and I really wanted her to have the first signed copy of my book. And so they emailed me back. They said, "Hey, that's great. Nah, she ain't here no more. she retired, and so tough luck." And I was like, "Well, okay, great." However, I put out pretty much a public inquiry on Facebook, and thankfully, someone who I hadn't spoken to in years basically told me, "Hey, you know what? She's actually here on Facebook." And so I got in touch with her, said hello. I told her, "Hey, you know, I don't know if you remember me, but you know, thanks to all your teachings, I just really wanted to give you the first signed copy of this book that I've published." And so, yeah, successfully sent her a copy of my book along with a crocheted figure of Hester Prynne, because the Scarlet Letter was actually I think the very first book that she taught us in class there. And from there, I am now still Facebook friends with my English teacher on Facebook. So there's a story with that. Otherwise, let's see. I am actually just about finishing up here with the skull. You can kind of see, I mean, it's upside down, but you can see there's a little bit of a face forming here. So for the sake of time, we're gonna fast forward a bit, and I will catch you guys up in a bit. Okay, so now I just need to close this off here, but I'm also going to take a moment to take a sip out of my drink. Ah! Oh no! Hamlet fell over. You know what? Spoiler alert, he dies anyway. Everybody dies, so my bad. Otherwise, take a quick sip. Sorry, Hamlet. But yeah, let me go ahead and finish this off here. And in case anyone's just curious about my cocktail, I prefer to make my old fashions with bullet rye. All right. And this part here, I always think looks kind of barbaric, just because it ends up looking like I've just shoved a needle through his head. Oh no! But that's the last step where I pull it closed. And there you have it. Yorick skull. There you go, Hamlet. Another toy for you to play with. All right, hope everyone's enjoyed this crafting cocktail session here. Hope everyone stays safe, keep your hands and your faces clean, and enjoy.